Why, happy Monday, everybody. We made it to the Monday. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. Now, I watched two movies at home. One was Spider Man No Way Home. And I gotta say, it was a very interesting concept how they brought three Spider Mans together. I just found it was a very interesting concept. I won't spoil it. That's all I'm gonna say. That there was three Spider Men in three universes combining into one universe. And I thought that was a very interesting concept. And I also saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm not going to say it was the best film out there when it comes to Ghostbusters. It's also not the worst movie because that's going to be the female version. Second by the Ghostbusters 2. But this one was pretty much on par with the first one, probably somewhere in between the first one and the second one. It was a very interesting concept as well. I understand the direction that they went, seeing how it was probably more of a trilogy when it came to the bad guy. But overall, I was kind of impressed. It wasn't woke. Didn't like the fact that it was like a teen rom com. They kind of threw that in there. Not a big fan of that, but overall, it was not a terrible movie. With that being said, it is Monday and it is February the 28th, which means it's the last day of the month. And next month is going to be a new month with new opportunities, which means I'm going to read all my comments from the past month, all the ones that I could find. If you commented on Facebook, I'm sorry. I'm just not going to read it. I don't think there's any comments on one of the other ones, which I kind of forgotten what it is. Um, it's one of the newer video sites that deals with tokens and all that good stuff. But anyways, that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my other screen. So that's about a month ago. I think I read this one from Iris. I was waiting for the second part. This video will help my husband build one. And this was with the press. I'm pretty sure I already read it. I'm glad that you are taking inspiration that I took from a couple of videos online and your husband is using it yourself. I mean, that's very, very helpful. I'm glad I was able to share some knowledge to help someone. And of course, this is the January comments. After being very sick with COVID, I truly enjoyed this video. Always waiting for you to read the comments at the end of each month. Thank you, and you're welcome. Thank you for the comment. Or I should say, you're welcome. Now, of course, this is Kim Potter sentence for Justice for Dante Wright. Keep it up. Great job. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. This tweet that bugs me. Hate has no place. This was with a Christian Republican that was going against a Muslim that's running to unseat Umar, and hopefully she does get unseated. I do think this person has the great or good intentions. I guess only time will tell. Iris commented, "This is an important message. I agree with you. We can't judge anyone by their beliefs. Good intentions, that's what truly matters." Thank you. You're welcome, and thank you for the comment. Of course, Iris is the only one that really comments. I think there's one other person that commented. Let's see here. Sandy Hook reaches a deal with Remington. Not a win or loss. Absolutely agree with you. Thank you for this information and for your point of view. That's one thing I do. I do have a certain set of point of view and kind of opinionated. Of course, this is Trump still winning. Two prosecutor resigns in New York. Yes, he deserves to win. And of course, World War III, but is it really? Iris says, no, I don't think so, but that's not an option for Putin to do this to secure a peace. Instead, U.S. and allies and OTAN circles Russia. They want more. Ukraine, I agree with you, everything you said here. It's Ukraine is very interesting, and you would have to look at from both sides of you or all three sides of you. You got Russia And you see the West that's encroaching, circling around Russia. And Russia says, I have these security concerns for my country. And the rest of the world says, yeah, we don't care about your concerns. You got Ukraine, which has its own interesting set of issues within its government. And of course, you have NATO and US. I will say, I don't really support the governments involved, but I do support the people of Ukraine. Because unfortunately, when governments fight, the people of the governments suffer. And unfortunately, what's happening in Ukraine is the people are suffering because the people that we elected to be the grown ups in the room are acting like children. And that's pretty much where I'm going to leave that for right now. And of course, Russia, why do you do this? I don't believe anything from the New York Post. I don't really believe anything that I'm seeing on internet. It just happened to be the first article I clicked. That's usually what I go with. I usually pick one that doesn't have ad blocker, which means there goes that blocks ad, or not blocks ads, but one that has a ad blocker, which means anything from Fox, which I may deem a little more trustworthy. When I say a little bit more, not by much, but I don't really trust any of the major news networks, including the Time, the New York Post, the New York Times, CNN, of course, Fox. On all of them, I don't really trust them. I'm just really looking at the story to see if it reveals anything. Yeah, we must look to other reliable information sources. For many years, there was a campaign against Putin, against Russia in the mainstream media. And of course, I responded to Iris saying, issue for me, there are no reliable sources anymore. Twitter's been a kind of a good source, but there's a lot of misdirection there. So I really don't know what to say about that. I've been looking for a great source without me starting my own news company and actually having people on the street. There's really no way for me to actually get a good sense of it. And that's where the democracy of information comes key, where I kind of look at the people I follow. What are they saying? Is there anything that lines up there? So, and of course, she also said, have a great weekend. Also, right back at you. Hopefully, you had a good weekend. Now, there was one comment here from Iris that did not show up. I don't know if she deleted it or if you deleted Iris. If you did, I'm sorry if I'm showing it. This is for our Trekkers for Freedom 2020 riots in Canada with bouncy castles. There's always violence involved in peaceful protests. There are some terrorist groups looking for the opportunity for violence. I cannot agree with you anymore. I support the Truckers for Freedom movements over the Black Lives Matter, mainly because it was mainly peaceful and there wasn't too much property damage, whereas CNN said fury, but mostly peaceful protests, and the police station and buildings were on fire in the background. So from that standpoint, I can't really support a group that allows that from to happen. Well, yes, I do understand most of the Black Lives Matter protests were peaceful, but there was probably $2 billion worth of damage. I think it was like 1.5 that's actually reported by the insurance. But of course, there's damages that are not covered by insurance. And since with such wide scale, a lot of that's going to be unaccounted for. But yeah, I agree. I mean, unfortunately, the only issue I had with the Truckers for Freedom is that they were honking their horns in the middle of the night. I wish they, at the beginning, didn't really do that. And I really don't like what Canada's doing in response. And of course, we're going to go to Rumble. Kind of like Rumble. I don't know what the future of Rumble is going to be now that it's a public company. But of course, this is Rip Helena Hutchinson's killed by Alec Baldwin, which is still a free man. Keep that in mind. People that stormed the Capitol have not been released on bail, but Alec Baldwin hasn't even been charged yet. And he's killed more people than most people that own guns. Acom Smith says, and Baldwin once again walks. Let me go ahead and up that rumble. Then, of course, a video, which I don't really want to redo, but I probably should do just to get better audio. I probably already read Liquid Disc, but I'll read you again, even though it's 6 weeks ago. Undead is the best, and I should have done that. And then, of course, Hawkbeard 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I don't always abide Chronicles rhetoric either. He tends to go overboard with negativity. He's got a little too wasted in his live stream with Joker from Better Bachelor and show a disturbing level of insecurity with Ribby, but he's funny. He is, and I will always be happy to smoke a bowl when he comes on. Um, More power to you. Like I said, I mean, I'm not trying to limit the way he's speaking. He definitely knows his audience, and for that, I don't want him to change. It's just my opinion. From the few videos I watched of him, kind of off-putting. It's not the best type of energy I want to have in my life. But he did respond to my videos in a positive light, so props to him for that. And of course, on BitChute, yes, Odyssey was the other site. People don't really comment on Odyssey. I don't know why that is. And of course, this is once again the Truckers for Freedom 2022 riots in Canada. Cholcombe 21, yeah. Help, help, emergency call for freedom around the world. Trudeau and Binder, I wonder if that's supposed to be Biden, but Binder and his regime have got to go now. Go to YouTube and watch 1960 President Ronald Reagan's farewell speech, Vision for Shiny City of the Hill. Number 2, stop world control under crime monopoly who owns the world. Number 3, same page under pandemic, full report. Please listen to or read or have your phone number or phone read number. 3, a little long, but you could play them on with CB or something. Please send this all over the world. Everyone stand up peacefully, but make a stand. Everyone needs you to take it all and use to take our world back. Thank you, great grandmother. Put them to hell out of office. Midterms are coming. All I'm going to say is midterms are coming. I think tomorrow is primary day here in Texas. Not sure if I'm going to vote in primary, which means I'm going to go to the general election and be like, why did I not vote in the primaries? I don't really claim Republican or Democrats. That's why I don't normally vote in primaries. But I might actually vote for. I was thinking about voting in Democratic primaries mainly because our DA got elected during the primary, which really should have been moved to the general election. And now we got 18 cops that are going to possibly serve the rest of their life in prison because of some defective or old beanbags that they were ordered to shoot at protesters, rioters, because they were storming the police station here in Austin. Now, I mean, it's a crappy situation because there's an expiration date on beanbags, which I did not know. But it's definitely a tragic where protesters or rioters were hurt. I do know that there's one kid that was shot in the head in a rubber bullet. I think he passed away. According to the story, he was just walking by to see what the ruckus was all about and got knocked in the head. It's a very tragic story, but at the same time, you cannot be attacking the police headquarters. You cannot be shutting down roads, which was I-35. And they actually shut it down twice. They also burnt up a homeless tent, burnt down some random Honda Civic, I believe. I think it was a Honda Civic. So it wasn't necessarily exactly peaceful to begin with. And which is an interesting take, which kind of makes me a hypocrite because I actually support the Canadians blocking international travel up up north, which I do understand. It's a hypocritical stance for me, but at the same time, the people kind of knew that they were blocking. They kind of had the heads up that they were blocking international travel on the road. It's been on the news, so it's to be expected. It wasn't just a random mob going onto a highway and likely not getting hit. Now, with that being said, if you didn't see your comment down below, I'm sorry I didn't see it, didn't read it. You can also leave a comment down below here if I missed your comment, and I'll read it in the next month, or maybe tomorrow, or the next day, or the next week, depending on when you write it down. Smash the like and subscribe button on any and all platforms, or just the platform you're currently watching on. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.